We've talked a lot about the negatives with GameStop in the past concerning things like their finances, the losses they've reported, their stocks dropping, crappy policies that they have, negative experiences, them closing stores and planning to close more, them laying off employees. It was a lot of doom and gloom, but today we actually have something that I'm actually excited to take a look at with you guys because it's something that is in the right direction, in my opinion. Is it going to save GameStop? I hope so. I know a lot of people want to see GameStop fail, and I've reported about a lot of the negative stuff. For me, it's not something where I have any kind of benefit or stake in them failing or closing down. That's not something I want to see. I just talk about the experiences I've had and the news going on with these guys. And I've talked about in the past things that I think could help them. And I'm really excited to see the direction that they're going, at least with this one test store. And we're going to take a look at this test store that they have in Oklahoma because I was really surprised to see this and definitely excited to see where they go with this, because this test store, as an example, it's not going to be the same for all the other stores that get redesigned. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, and we'll take a look at this redesigned store. But if you take a look at their GameStop's last news release, which was about a week ago, where they talked about their fiscal earnings and all that stuff, the losses, which we already reported on, they do have their reboot strategy listed on here, which I find pretty interesting. So we're going to look through that real quick and then look at the new store that they've created, which, like I said, I'm pretty excited for. So here we go. As part of its go-forward plan, the company's leadership outlined a strategy to improve the performance of their stores. The 4 pillars to the strategic plan include the following. Let's take a look. Optimize the core. Optimize the core business by improving efficiency and effectiveness across the organization, including cost restructuring, inventory management optimization, adding and growing high margin product categories, and rationalizing the global store base. All this stuff makes sense. Cost restructuring, part of that is going to be the store closures. And I did state in my previous video that, it sucks when they have store closures, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a sign of a store's demise, a company's demise. What it could be and what it is just getting rid of those stores that are dead weight, the non-profitable stores. What they're closing, what they've planned to close, is a very small portion of their total assets of stores that they own. So, sure, people will be displaced, and I hope the best for those people. Either they can be put into another GameStop position, or hopefully they just find something better. No ill will towards GameStop employees. Like I said in my other videos, it comes from the top, you know what I mean? So, it's really the things that go on at GameStop. It's not the employees' fault. It's corporate and rolling down onto them. Dead weight, stores that are underperforming, or even those stores that, like I said in my last video, there's a mall that I go to. There's GameStop in the mall, and then across the street, there's another GameStop. Pointless. Doesn't need to be. So they'll be closing stuff like that, where there's a GameStop on one block, and then 2 blocks down the road, there's another one. Doesn't need to exist, and it's quite common with these stores. They just wanted to take up that retail space all over the place. So next one, become the social cultural hub for gaming. This is one I commented on months ago, and I found it kind of odd, the way they talked about it, but it's making a little more sense now. So they want to create the social and cultural hub of gaming across the GameStop platform by testing and improving existing core assets, including the store experience, knowledgeable associates, and the Power Up Rewards loyalty program. Knowledgeable associates. This is one thing that, from my experience with GameStop, as far as for the most part, like current gen, whatever they sell, I haven't had a problem with employees not being knowledgeable. Had a pretty decent experience with that. Where the knowledgeable aspect has come into play with my experiences is stores that would sell retro games. There was a lot of stores that the employees just didn't know anything about it, about certain platforms, about certain things to look for. They would take in games, resell games that didn't work from stores that I talked to managers. They said, well, we would take in the trade-ins and we would send them off to the center, and they would be refurbished and tested and all that. They wouldn't test them in the stores, so they would take broken games, but games would slip through that process. I don't know exactly the process, but they would sell broken games, counterfeit games, bootleg games. I've caught them at a couple stores doing that, selling games that were traded into the store, and then they immediately put it on the floor for sale that were bootlegs, and selling games that were previously returned because they were bought from a GameStop They didn't work. They returned it to the store. They were damaged out and then put back on the shelf to sell, and they still had that damaged out label on it. I know I did a video on that a long while ago because it happened to me. So that if they embrace the retro stuff, that's really where the knowledge needs to come into play, the training. So there we go with that. Next one, build digital platform, build compelling digital capabilities, combine the two words, digitable, including the recent relaunch of GameStop.com, which is a travesty. I've reached out to GameStop.com numerous times over the past few weeks, over the months. I can't log into my account. Changed my password, doesn't work. I put in the new password, it just doesn't log in. There's something wrong with their website. I'm not getting any answers. I can't log in to deal with some stuff. I wanted to cancel something. I can't cancel it. But that's kind of beside the point. They do need to get that website like freaking, relaunched properly, because man, and their customer service as far as online, through email, through their little contact thing, or calling them is a pain in the ass, man. It's a pain in the ass. I was on the phone with these guys a couple days ago, or late last week actually, for like over an hour, and I got hanged up on. Like I was on hold. They gotta figure that out, man. They're not the only ones with those issues, but they do need to fix that. What else? So they want to reach customers more broadly across the omni-channel platform and give them the full spectrum of content and access to products they desire. Okay. And then the fourth one, transform vendor partnerships. Transform our vendor and partnership relationships to unlock additional high margin revenue. It's all about that revenue. Got to make that money. And optimize the lifetime value of every customer. Yeah, don't annoy your customers, right? I know you got to upsell some stuff, but do it in a little less of a condescending way, right? So that's their plan. Some of it might not make sense. Some of it does make sense. It's got to be put into action to really make sense. And that's where this GameStop comes into play. GameStop in Pryor, Oklahoma, Pryor Plaza. And I found this really interesting. I will put a link to their Facebook page in the description so you can peep this out. But I found this really interesting. There's a lot of people reporting on this, taking a look. But the first thing I noticed going to their Facebook page, Magic the Gathering trade and play event. Man, it has been years since I've been to a Magic the Gathering event. Definitely fun times. And I know a lot of people commented on this kind of stuff. They were to do collectible trading card game tournaments in stores. Like, how the hell could they accommodate that? I think this store, they have their footprint, their plan. It looks kind of neat. Sure, you can't host 100 people tournaments, but it does look pretty interesting. And with this trade and play event, this seems like something like, hey, it's not really it's not really a tournament. It's more of like, hey, come in and hang out, trade your cards with people, play a couple matches, whatever the case may be. They may be doing tournaments in the future. I'm not sure, but I did find some of that stuff interesting. They have a Pokemon Go trade and battle event, Pokemon trading card game trade and play event. So like not sanctioned tournaments, but just like, hey, come in, enjoy yourselves. What they hope for, obviously, like if you ever went to a comic book store who did events like this, is you come in the play. And this, it just trade and play. You're not entering a tournament. So this is like a free event. You're not paying for entry, or at least that's the way it seems to me anyway. So the hope is that you come in to play Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. They sell that stuff. They sell accessories for those games. They hope maybe you'll buy something. Maybe you'll be like, oh, you know what? While I'm here, let me get the latest Mario game or the latest Pokemon game, something like that, right? So those are the things that they hope for with this. And what I find interesting is how this store was redesigned. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So first up, what we have here is actually the store being shown where they kind of gutted it and they were getting everything taken out and moved out. Like this is the original layout and they're just cleaning up, getting everything removed. They stated that they've been at this location for 14 years and that after this event right here where they're getting rid of everything, that's when the redesign is taking place. So we're going to take a look at the redesign in a second here, which I found pretty interesting. In this video, they do showcase, you could see where the normal GameStop form originally was. You could kind of see how things were. This does look like your typical GameStop. They had a few cases here and there. They had the customer service area, the cash register in a pretty, common place that a lot of these stores have them at, like in the middle against the wall. I've seen a lot of GameStops like that. Some of them, it's as soon as you enter, it's to the left. against the wall. A few of them I've seen. So you enter and it's all the way to the wall in front of you, but pretty common layouts. They do show the back room there. They had a little water fountain and whatnot, but pretty interesting stuff. So there's that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the redesign. So here is the Redesign store. You see they got that wood paneling all over the floor. That is looking really spiffy in my opinion. They have a little couch with a big ass TV right there. They have some pop vinyl figures, the little pop figures on shelves. I've been in the stores where, holy crap, they have walls of pop figures. It's like that's all they sold. So if these stores kind of shrink that down, maybe only sell like exclusives or stuff that's popular or whatever recent releases are, and not like have a ton of pops everywhere, makes kind of some sense there. And then, you know, they have it like almost like Hot Topic. That's what I could describe this as, where the cash register is free floating in the middle and it's not surrounded by product. There's not a wall there. It's just in the middle. And then in the back here, they had some CRTs, some retro consoles. They have cases with consoles in it. They have storage drawers and shelves and whatnot underneath the displays. They do have some displays in the center of the store with accessories and whatnot. I do think this store has been minimized in a sense with certain things. And when you look at the cash register, it's like two, there's one behind and one in front in the center of the store. Like I said, really similar to a lot of mall placements for like Hot Topics and Spencer Gifts, that kind of thing. They have some snacks up against the wall. I don't know if they want you eating them in there with this nice brand new flooring, but hey, why not, right? That's the one thing too, that I've seen stores who thrive on this kind of thing. Let's replay this while I talk. But stores where they have like sit down areas where you can play games or do certain things, and they sell snacks and drinks and whatnot. Obviously they're selling it for, you know, a premium price in a sense. You know, you're not buying the stuff for what you would get it at like Walmart. But if you just wanted a quick snack and you're sitting there playing Magic the Gathering, or you're testing out some retro games, boom, they're making some money off of you buying some snacks. Maybe they did the wood flooring to make it easier to clean this place. I don't know. The resolution of this video that they recorded was on like a phone, so it's not that great. I can't tell if the center of the store, if that's carpeting or some kind of tiling. It might be carpeting. I don't know, but maybe the main foot traffic areas, like where they would play the card games and that table, which not a lot of space, but it's enough to host like, 10 people maybe. And if you're doing like a Magic tournament or whatever, you don't have to have everybody seated at one time. You get the main games out of the way, and then people disperse, and then you keep going through the tournament, through the brackets of the tournament. So you can accommodate a little thing there. But like I said, it seems like they want to do play and trade events and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. But them having these big ass CRTs and retro consoles, I mean, retro is big right now. People buying these retro consoles and games is pretty big right now. Is it something that can sustain a business? For some businesses, yes. For GameStop, I don't know. Their core business, I think, still needs to be current generation stuff, but embracing that retro, that retro desire people have, I think is pretty interesting. This store, I mean, I already know I'm going to have people that are like, who cares? This isn't that big a deal. But the thing is this is just one location. This is just one test location. From what I have heard, that's being reported by people who, who have inside information or who'd been to the conference for GameStop, they brought up, that these redesigns, that this is a typical floor plan that they're doing, but in different areas, different regions, different marketplaces, the stores aren't all going to be the same. Some may have more of a focus on other things. So maybe in an area where they don't think retro games is going to be big, they'll have more of an esports thing. Maybe like a little lounge where like these net cafes that used to be around, like where I live, they really don't exist anymore, where you can rent some time to play a game on a powerful PC that you couldn't play at home. Maybe a bunch of kids are going to go in here, pay $1 for 30 minutes of Fortnite play or something. I don't know. But there's different ways that they're going to go about doing this with structuring the different stores. Is this going to save GameStop? I don't know. I think it's exciting to see them do something like this because it's still a game store. It's not crazy drastic, but it's really interesting to see them have big ass CRTs, have Nintendo 64s lying around, original Xbox systems, Nintendos, where you can go in there and play them on these classic TVs, these retro consoles. I think is really interesting. I didn't really see much of a display of retro games, but I mean, it's just going to depend on the market, I guess. I think this is neat. I think it's exciting to see them restructure and do this kind of thing. Are we going to see a drastic drop in GameStop stores? I think that 200 stores that are being closed is just the beginning. They already have stated, and we've already heard that there will be more closures going forward. But I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping the best for them. I know a lot of people want to have a store that's video game, centralized. That's what their main focus is to go to. And yeah, if GameStop can turn this around and do something interesting with the stores around me, as an example, I'll go in there and check it out, man. I mean, I will. If they can get all this stuff right, where the attitudes is different, the way they want the employees to interact with customers is not the way it has been, that would be cool. Not all stores have the same issues. It just depends on management, depends on the push on certain things. But a lot of us have experienced a lot of boo-boo-ness with these stores. So really excited to see. Let me know what you guys think as far as this restructure, this redesign, the plan. If you don't go to GameStop anymore, if they start rolling out stores like what we've seen today, are you going to stop in and at least check it out? I will. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Am I going to go pre-order anything? Probably not quite yet, but I will go check it out. So, hey, there it is. Let me know what you think. Really do appreciate you guys. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye, and boom. Boy.